Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our sixth public hearing of the New York City Charter Review Petition, and our second public hearing here in the great borough of Staten Island, the one of Staten Island, of the throughout the year. So tonight we turn to our second round of hearings, which is exciting. This afternoon, we released the submissions to preliminary report, which contains, the staff recommendations to the commissioners based on what we heard in the first round of hearings. In written testimony and in suggestions from leaders of city agencies and elected officials. More on that shortly. We'll talk about it in just a minute. Let me introduce myself. I'm Paul Shishler, Chair of the Charter Review Commission. I am joined by our Secretary, Ken Nye, Commissioner Max Rose, Commissioner Jackie Rowe Adams, and Commissioner Christopher Lynch. Thank you all for being here. We have Commissioner Kyle Bragg on Zoom and a few other commissioners who are moving. I would like to thank our principal, Gregory Janek, for hosting us here at Rickens High School. It is a magnificent building. It's great to be here. So I'm going to ask our commissioners who are here or in person to say any words. Commissioner Williams.
Good evening. Thank you for coming out. I'm looking forward to hearing the testimony for this evening. And as we have said in the past, we are all ears to listen to what your issues are, what you would like the commission to address on behalf of the borough. And once again, we're super excited to be here in Staten.
Good evening, Staten Island in the house. How y'all doing? So I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored because as you sit there, I see it is very important for you to come out because you get a chance to hear what's going on and to be able to voice your opinions and to help us figure out what is good for the city, what is good for your communities. Because a lot of you don't get an opportunity to say what you feel is needed. So we thank you so very much for being here. I look forward to working with you and hearing this.
Good evening, Staten Island. Thank you for coming out again tonight. We are eager to listen to your testimony, your concerns, your issues, your comments. With that being said, I'm very interested and glad that you thank you. Everybody, I just want to echo the great sentiments of my fellow commissioners before the hearing. Everyone today, thank you so much for your participation and service.
And Kyle.
Thank you. Good evening, Kyle Bragg. My apologies first for not being able to be there in person due to a conflict, but I'm very happy to again be able to hear from the good people of Staten Island in regards to how we make our city government better through this Charter Revision Commission. So thank you again for allowing us to be here with you and to hear from your testimonies.
Thank you. And let me thank our executive director, council, and all of the entire staff for their work. So I say this at both of the remind everybody. We are here to review the chart. We are here to listen to New Yorkers, listen to the people of our great city, and learn about what some of the ideas are, what some concerns are, what some anything is happening across the city. So the medical recommendations in the chart. We will solicit recommendations and comments on how to improve city government from New Yorkers and experts, and then we will determine what proposals, if any, to take to the voters in the form of ballot question or questions on November 5th of the general election. So today we welcome members of the public here in person and on Zoom, which is very exciting. This is my third charter commission and the first one we had to submit. That's great. So today, as I mentioned, we presented our draft commission preliminary report, which is very exciting, and the report discusses and highlights various issues that have been brought to the commission and includes recommendations from the staff on topics for the commission to potentially move forward. Now, a couple of things I want to be clear about. First of all, it is up to and very clearly the job of 13 members of this commission to determine what questions, if any, will appear on them. We will carefully consider the recommendations and we encourage everyone to read the report, which is available on our website. We want to hear what the public thinks of the preliminary report. We will be hosting additional sessions across the city in the coming week, including back at Staten Island on Tuesday, July 9th at 5 p.m. at Staten Island University Hospital North. Please spread the word and please let people know what we're doing. It's very, very important. We will do our best to accommodate everyone who wishes to speak, but we also ask you to, if you like, submit your testimony in writing and come to hearings. That is really the best way. So the hearings and the report on the website www.nyc.gov/charter, and you could submit your comments or testimony in writing to charter.citycharter.nyc.gov between now and July 12th. So I am going to start the testimony, and I believe we have Councilmember Vicky Palladino, who is joining us virtually. Councilmember, would you like to speak?
You go, unmute. Hi, how's everybody? The sound, I have to tell you guys, is terrible. We can't understand you a little bit. It's you're very muffled and fuzzy. Unless it's just me, I don't know. Can you do anything about that? Kyle, you were crystal clear when but the panel in the auditorium, are you hearing what I'm hearing? Yeah, you are. All right, well, we're here tonight. Well, I'm here tonight because, as you know, being a member of the Common Sense Caucus, we put together a request that the Charter Revision Commission advance forward with a ballot initiative, whereas the people of the city of New York can decide on its own on the back of the ballot on whether or not we want to repeal our sanctuary city status, or do we want it to remain as is. So my testimony is to please, if you would be so kind as to consider the people of the city of New York and give them the right to testify, to vote on whether or not the sanctuary city status should be repealed. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. So we're going to try this without a microphone. Hopefully you can hear us a little better. And I will yell at Councilmember, we appreciate your testimony. Richard Flann.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see all of you. And I'm Richard Flanagan. I've been teaching at the College of Staten Island for 26 years. And I'm a political scientist and political historian.
Yeah,
Pick it up, yeah. Are you
is
not?
that on?
No, to speak, to speak.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
It's better?
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought I would offer
not the view from 30,000 feet from some of these questions, maybe the view from outer space. And some of the questions we have. Your mission might fit into the long trend of history. Of tradition that we pass and gather in the future. On the question of city governance, and I have 4 thoughts to consider. The first one is really out of left field. I've never heard anyone make this suggestion before, but the city needs a vice mayor, elected vice mayor, who would run the ticket between. And in a lot of ways, this would allow the mayor to form coalitions, whether by race and class, or by color, with a running, so there is some advantage. It would also, we've been on the street with mayors, fulfilling all of their the length of their terms. But remember, Bill de Blasio trying to get out of being president. He has one of his predecessors, John Lindsay, did the same thing. And we've been blessed with mayors of very good health in this. But there was a time in the 1940s and 1950s when LaGuardia was one that he was very sick. He died soon after this. And then the subsequent year, after the cloud of standing there, and that transition to power to the next man, the council president. Well, it wasn't a smooth one. This would also allow, and I know that in Americans, there are definitely mayors and other people who run the city. But I think it would be reassuring to people who are actors to Hong Kong or the economic development that there's a citywide elected official who has his or her confidence at the meeting. Tell me when you're time.
I'm gonna try and stick with you.
You got it. Okay. Second is the age-old question that the commission has trouble with forever. Nonpartisan election. Should we have not, this was something that we were carrying in water for many years from someone. I'm sympathetic to it, and a lot of my colleagues will tell you that it's something not to do at all. But just in keeping and talking to new voters, the next generation, they're really attached not to being a member of a party. And that party of non-affiliated voters is the second largest party in the city of New York. And it would seem to me rolling out a nonpartisan election at the member level might be something to consider. It won't be transformative in either direction. It would look probably Sanders politics. And the recent election out there, essentially a regular Democrat outside of the union. So I don't think it's flavorfully politics would be transformed into a signal. Voters who do not want to belong to the party that you belong, you will not get squeezed out of the action if all the action is in the Democratic primary. The third important one, the committee might consider, and this is something that Richard Nathan, late Richard Rockefeller suggested a while ago, direct election for the board members. Our council districts are huge. New York City Council District is the size of Cumberland County, New Jersey. Cumberland County, New Jersey has 14 municipalities and 82 elected municipal legislators. There's a lot of Democratic energy flowing there. And we can see it a little bit in the record elections of the school boards and seeing very interest elections lately. That would address the age-old question in the politics that we've been struggling with for decades, which is how does the city decentralize and we're actually in it. So these are just some thoughts to get you on and take it through your time.
Great. Are there any other questions? Yes, ma'am. We have a couple of questions.
Let's hope we have something. Thank you.
But I think this is clear, understand, I'm going back to the part where you said that they should, we're asking the commission to consider putting in a second layer, is that explain that?
Well, that my idea is similar to vice president in the United States. Many states have lieutenant governors. I think in 3/4 of states, lieutenant governors run separately from the governor. I think New Jersey, the recent addition of its lieutenant governor, did it right and run its governors. So it would be directly to help this to the president of the United States.
So you're saying the mayor plus, a vice mayor should run on the ballot? So what about the appointment of the mayor? You're not considering the mayor appointments, you know?
This wouldn't affect that at all. There'd still have to be a. Deputy mayor was also.
You're asking to consider that.
An adoption of the new position, particularly in this limited discussion, we should continue in public advocates conference as such. This could be a way of thinking of that citywide law.
Thank you. So we've been joined by two members of our Steve Commissioner, our Vice Chair, Table Youth Club, and Commissioner Sutton. Would you like to just do a quick welcome?
Thanks to all of you who have come out and stay now.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. They're happy to be here. This, vision together, and we're here to hear your concerns, so thank you all for coming on.
Thank you. So we have a quorum, which means I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes of the Charter Revision Commission held on May 29th, 2024 in Manhattan, June 5th, 2024 in Leeds, and June 6th, 2024 in Staten Island. Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any exceptions? Thank you very much. How about?
Hello, commission members. I'm here to make a suggestion for improving our election system. The objectives that I see should be addressed are to give voters more choices and to give them choices more frequently. First of all, I would recommend that you extend ranked choice voting to all elections. It's been tested in primaries in 2021, and it's quite successful. It virtually eliminates spoilers and gives voters plenty of opportunity to voice their or to select their choices, and you end up with a consensus candidate. One modification that I would make is regarding what we call exhausted votes. Exhausted votes are votes where all the choices on the voter's ballot have been eliminated. What happens now is that once they're all eliminated, the vote is trashed. It's not included and it's done. For instance, in the mayoral 2021 Democratic primary, in which Mayor Adams defeated Ms. Garcia by 7,200 votes. At that point, 140,200 votes were being exhausted and were trashed. So you can see that there was a huge number of votes that were not included in the final tally. How would it change? Would it change? Who knows? What I recommend is that instead of trashing the vote, we make the voter's first choice, who has already been eliminated, their proxy. And that proxy would then decide where that vote, which has been exhausted, to which candidate it would be allocated. So this is a way of avoiding this process of exhausted votes. It's also called inactive votes in the Board of Elections statistics. But I think that is a useful change. Another change I would make is I would allow voters to vote in whatever district they wish. Now, the reason we have districting, most of the justification for it is to avoid multiple votes, that people go from one district to another and vote multiple times. One way around this would be to modify the way the ballot is formulated, so that a voter will choose what district they want to vote in. They still vote in the same voting place that they vote now, but on the ballot, they will decide what district they wish to vote in. Then they can only vote for candidates in that district. This would allow voters more choices. It would also allow candidates more opportunity to get wider support from people outside the core district. Because districting is really an artificial, balance. I would also say for petitioning, the only requirement should be that a voter lives in New York City to sign anyone's petition. Why? Because now, the way it works, you have to get a voter that lives in the district that the candidate is running. Under this, there'd be no such restriction, and again, candidates who have a wider pool of potential voters could get more signatures more easily in other areas, instead of being restricted to a district. Which I call district segregation. It really is limiting voters' choices. I want to give voters more choices. Another change I would make is I would reduce the terms in office. They're now 4 years for city council. Mr. Rose, when he was serving, had a 2-year term. And so does state assembly, and so does state senate. If it's good enough for them, why does city council get 4 years? 2 years is enough. And even I would suggest that you consider reducing the mayor's term also to 3 years. This gives us an opportunity to review someone more frequently. If they're good, re-elect them. You can modify the term limits to the same number of years now, just more terms, more frequently. I would also recommend that you review the campaign finance, what I call cookie jar, which is now an 8-to-1 matching fund. That is really excessive. And plus the thresholds are so high that they discriminate against poorer candidates. For a city council member to get on the ballot, to qualify for matching funds, they have to collect $5,000 from 75 or more residents of their district. Now, I would suggest, first of all, that threshold be lowered, and the restriction on the number of that they have to be within, they have to be reside in the district again, be removed. In other words, I want to weaken the districting system as it is now. Doesn't eliminate it, it's still voted the same polling site, but under my suggestions, you would have many more choices. Let me see what else I have.
We're gonna have to wrap up.
Okay, I'm going to send in to you a written document with more detail. This is just, now this is obviously quite extensive. I really think that the entire voting system really needs to be reviewed. And there really needs to be some serious reforms as to how we allocate money. And just one more thing on the campaign finance cookie jar. The amount of money should be linked in some way to how much is being spent by the opponent. There have been cases of people running for office against an opponent who was spending virtually nothing, and they were collecting literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on that fund. What's that all about? That needs to be changed. Okay, so my name again is Hal Wacker, WACKR, and I can be reached at halwacker@yahoo.com. Thank you. Any questions? Say it again?
Political consultant, New York City will applaud your 2-year election.
How about you? How about you? How about you? Anybody else?
Yeah, my question is, talk about restriction of signature.
Could you speak up?
We talk about restriction of signature on a ballot of petition. Are you talking about for local position, local office position, or are you talking about for city office?
I'm talking about any of the what are called municipal elections. In other words, city council, mayor. Well, mayor is already citywide, so you can sign anyone, but the city council is restricted to just people from your district. Oh, and one other thing I have to get in, and that is the municipal voter, chapter 46A of the charter, which allows as municipal voters, meaning voters in the city of New York, elections, non-citizen New York City residents of 30 days who are authorized to work in the USA can vote in the city elections. That needs to be put on the ballot and let the voters decide. That is, I call citizen nullification. Thank you.
Morris Ford.
Good evening. Thank you for this event. My name is Laura Sword. I'm the chair of the Staten Island Party with my Staten Island. I understand that there has been some discussion of including open primaries as part of the charter revision. And I just wanted to put on the record my personal opposition to primaries. There are many reasons that we should oppose the concept, but I'm going to limit it to the one of the more than 10 vote obvious reason, which is that allows voters from any or no political affiliation to vote for the primary and lead to a candidate who is not aligned with the values and fundamental beliefs of the political party. I've been involved with Democratic parties since 19 years old, and I became a Democrat because I passionately believe in ideas and ideals it represents. I'm vehemently pro-choice. I would for healthcare, gun reform, a higher minimum wage, and I consider climate action a moral imperative. I don't think in 1 second there's a Republican who wants me determining who their candidate should be. And similarly, they should get to decide what values the Democratic candidate should embrace. Now, while a lot of these propositions are saying that we can do this by only allowing unaffiliated voters the right to participate in open primary, that does not actually mitigate the problem. The New York Post recently noted the very fact that these voters have chosen not to pick party labels in these volumes. These are voters who choose by candidate, not by party, and therefore less likely to be ideologically bound. Well, as a party, we have the right to have candidates who are ideologically bound. In a Supreme Court case from 2000, Justice Scalia, I quote Justice Scalia highlighted that the First Amendment freedom of assembly includes parties joining together to further common political beliefs and limiting representation to those who share them. He wrote, in no area is the political association's right to include more important than in its candidate selection process. That process also determines the party's positions on significant public policy issues, and it is the nominee who is the party's ambassador charged with winning the general election over to the team. And while there are many other reasons to oppose open primaries, from sabotage to selective registration to administrative burdens, I think the Supreme Court provided wisely was the most important one. I've always strongly believed in values of the Democratic Party and our platform, but I know that Republicans, Green Party members, Working Family Party members, Conservative Party members, who are active parties, feel just as strongly about their beliefs as I do about ours. And despite the division we see in our current climate, I know that most, not all, but most, elected officials, regardless of their party, became public servants to make the world a better place. We all have the same goal, the betterment of our communities, but we do see very different paths to reaching those goals. And parties should be allowed to chart their own paths to get there. Open primaries will be roadblocks on these paths that make it less likely that any of us. Thank you.
Any questions? All right, thank you. Lois General.
Thank you. I have a question that, yes, but we did this study on that. You think it's a great idea to build like story on Staten Island with that one about on park. I asked if that was really nobody had any answer. Who did the study on it?
That would be farms planning.
You have nothing to do with
Yeah,
that.
this is charter commission. I'm sure someone could get you the right place.
Yeah, okay, because when we were at that meeting, there was a pretty very lovely young girl at the beginning of the meeting, I remember that was, if anyone here from the mayor's office. They didn't raise their hand, but we was there the night, they spoke. And I kept asking them, who's doing this stuff? So, yeah, they can give me the information, I appreciate it.
If you go on this like website, it'll have everything. Also check in the vote union board, because they had to, obviously, vote on. But maybe someone can give her some points.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Frank Moran. He's much more handsome than you.
Thank you, it's after his mother. Good evening, Commissioner, welcome again to Staten Island, thanks for being here. I wanted to reiterate one more time that I think given the accelerated timeline that you guys are doing, there's a lot of great ideas, a lot of great ideas from not only here, but the previous commission. But given the fact that this is going to be something that's due in less than 2 months and voted on in November, realistically, we're not going to remake every aspect of the city charter. So I think it's important for you guys to do the most good in the least amount of time. And that's why I wanted to reiterate, in light of what Mr. Flanagan and others just said, and I was previously, that I think the simplest reform and potentially the most effective reform that can be done, the easiest to implement, is simply to have the same type of nonpartisan elections that we currently have in special elections in the general election. One amendment with nine choice voting would save the entirety of the cost of the second round of election. And that's last time I'll reiterate that. The other thing that I think could be done very easily is obviously we all recognize the importance of community boards. And it's something you have actually served on community boards. And I'm very privileged to serve on community board 3 in Staten Island. As you know, there are 51 council districts and there are 59 community districts. And what that leads to is a situation where you have multiple, you have city council members staffing multiple community districts. In Staten Island, for instance, you have Joe Borelli's office going to meetings of community board 3 and community board 2. You have David Carr's office going to meetings of community board 1, 2, and 3. It's just inefficient. It's an inefficient use of staff resources and taxpayer resources. And I think it's encouraging, as has been studied before and talked about going back to 1977. Simply make the community districts co-terminus with the city council district. It brings a level of simplicity. People don't have to take out a Dakota rate to find out which council district they're in and what community district they're in. It eases the staff burden on the city council members, and it really makes a situation one-stop shopping for any constituent needs, rather than this section of community board 2, this section of community board 3. And I would hope, and I'm expecting something that's relatively easy to implement, given the accelerated timeline. Thank you for your work, not only here, but throughout this process.
So I have a comment for the public. I have said it for years. I never understood why boards and councils were not the same. it is, I agree with you, it's a very clean, map. I believe, and I don't remember when, the police department and the community board will turn this. It just wouldn't make sense. And again, I'm not saying it's something you can do on a short term, but it is something that.
You know, I think part of the reason that has to do with how council districts were redistributed versus how community districts were redistributed. And it may be, even if it's not going to be ready on the ballot this year, maybe it could be in, your report to the current county commissioners.
I don't think there has to be a look at a budget. I don't think it's as easy as it's gonna make the council district. We're just based on the census. But I just want to make sure I understand also. And I've heard you say it a million times. I should understand. this.
Yeah, well, it's my failure.
No, it's not. So in your mind, we run elections like a special. So there's a primary, everybody votes with ranked choice voting. And you can pick.
Yeah, well,
There would be no November.
well, that could be the November election. The state law, that mandates that the determinative election be in November. So that would be, in that scenario, the final round of voting. The problem with something like top two, as the Bloomberg's commission proposed in 2003, is that helps assuredly lead to a situation where in the general election citywide, you have two Democrats running, and that leaves out about 30% of the citywide electorate that would
I
want to
don't know
vote.
if you would have everybody able to vote, so it would be up to the voters.
That would be, again, I think with ranked choice voting, we have a situation where it saves the whole cost of a run. So if you want to duplicate another round of voting, and it costs over $2.5 million. And again, as I mentioned, this is what municipalities in California have done, when it's working with minimal confusion and minimal disruption of what the voter preferences are. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you. On Zoom. Laura, thank you. What's your name? I love that. That's a good Irish name.
Yeah, Irish looking, it's looking that. Thank you.
Laura, we. Zoom. No. Logan Davies on Zoom. Tony Carasquillo on Zoom.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I just wanted to raise my concerns about the new arrivals that have entered New York. I was brutally attacked in front of the Row Hotel last week. I was stabbed in the chest by a migrant. I was jumped by a group of migrants right in front of the hotel. And something needs to change with the city. It's not fair that these people get to victimize born and raised New Yorkers. And the city has doing nothing to handle this problem. There's not enough security in front of the hotel for me to get attacked and almost killed in front of the hotel. It's not right. Something needs to be done.
Thank you. I'm sorry that you had to endure that. Were you able to reach out to the police?
The man that stabbed me I just got finished out the courtroom about 40 minutes ago. Hopefully he gets indicted for attempted murder.
Hope that you're feeling okay. Thank you.
This
Stephanie via Zoom.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, my name's Stephanie Prasos. I'm a resident of Queens, and I joined today in favor of the sanctuary city referendum to be placed on the November ballot.
Stephanie, what is your last name?
Prasos, Prassos.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any additional folks to testify? Yeah, all right, so while we see if anyone else. I thought it would be a good opportunity for the commissioners to talk a little bit about the preliminary report and anything on your mind, any questions you may have. Obviously, we are transparent, so it's an opportunity to share some of your thoughts. So anyone who would like to jump in?
Mr. Chairman, in reviewing the report and some of the testimony that have been sent to us, I believe from what I'm hearing from our community, that public safety is the number one issue on people's minds. We, as commissioners, charged not to hear everything. I've served a lot of people in the work of 27 years. I just resigned and then we served in the army in 7 years. I do believe that if it was possible, somewhere and we're not here about the chairs voting, but somewhere we need to look at it. I do believe, not I do believe, I know that I have voted in Russia, and it was sad during the election. They said, I voted on whether I voted. We must at some point, and I don't know whether we really have chance, but we must look at it, voting before we go to get that democracy. When we look at how some of the city council members, the voting that they get, and the kind of funds that is spent, public funds that is spent, it raises questions about funds for education that we can use and not for people to get their name out for a next election, whatever they have in mind. So I would say that is listed that somewhere you have served as the chair, Greg, other colleagues served in former borough president of Bronx. Somewhere in their place, so we put notice of
Yes.
representation. Some of the things that we heard, I don't think, I don't get, but if we make a representation that next time we look at.
So I think your point, first of all, congratulations. How many honors? About 1,000. So the way reports, at least the ones I've done, been a part of, there is the final report, and there is the recommendation of commissioners who indeed should be the ballot. But then it's more than a footnote, my opinion. It's recommendations that we couldn't get to for this election, but the commission believes a future charter should look at the following, and we list things that we heard from folks out there. Things we believe in, things we heard that we can't get on the ballot this year, but that we believe strongly that the next product. And that happens all the time. And you know what I do, maybe email and the last charter. Or you have it. If you don't have it, you can get it. I'm sure it's on the website. Yeah. But I think it'd be good to see how it's like that. Great, thank you. Anything else? Yes, Commissioner Adams. Yeah.
So just want to say, once again, I am very proud of all of you being here. And I'm really proud of the Charter of the District Commission. Preliminary report, I'm proud of us doing this work, and putting in our time. A lot that have been done so far with the Charter Division come from all of you. And we want you to know that we hear you for listening. And as Dr. Dukes said, you know, we heard constantly about public safety. Public safety is very important. So looking at that, we heard a lot of sanctuary, you know, cities. And we're looking and listening to everything that you said. So I just want to say we're going to continue and we're going to continue to tell people to come out that you know in the different boroughs and even out here, because it is room, as you heard, Ms. Dukes asked for change and for adding. So it's your voices that are being heard. And again, I'm very proud of our chair. Thank you. You know, and our team, you know, because we really are working in our directors and, you know, the whole team. Because we get this work done through you. So we're going to continue to make sure that you know your voices have been heard. Because some people think because the Charter Preliminary Commission, that they don't have to come out, oh, it's over, it's not, it's just we did it. So I want to make that very clear. Because some people say, oh, it's something to the speaking or coming out. Yes, it is. This is important. So we want you to hang with us all the way. Because we are going to make a difference in such a short time. Only with you. So this is what I want to say. Thank you once again.
Thank you. And I will just echo, again, this is just a preliminary report. There is nothing final. It is now going to continue to be looked at, and the commission will have the final outcome. Yes.
So it does seem that many of the issues that we're confronting do boil down to the fact that our city is becoming deeply divided between the primary electorate and the non-primary electorate. Whether that's public safety or whatever else it might be. And so it seems that many of the issues we're looking at circle back to election reform. Now, I'm ardently opposed to nonpartisan elections, but I do think that it is worth considering first past the post-elections, similar to what we see in California, where there is the potential for two Democrats to be featured on the ballot in the general election, or two Republicans, or independent, or whatever else it might be. And what that would mean is that every elected official would have to be cognizant of both the primary electorate and the general electorate throughout their time serving in elected office, at least so long as they want to run again for office, which would be every single elected official in the district of the city. So I've heard several times that, well, we might not be able to get to that. And so I just would like to be able to understand what would be necessary to get to that from a process.
I don't understand. How do you do it?
So basically, the way my understanding how is that there is basically one primary. And let's say there's 6 people running. One Green Party, one Independent, 3 Republicans, 2 Democrats.
whatever, you get the point. The two individuals that get the most votes,
Hold on, that primary, everybody.
everyone's in it, but their party is identical. So their party matters, that you can still have a person who's endorsed by the Democratic Party, and parties still matter, right? But everyone's on the ballot together. So, and then the two individuals that get the most votes, whether it be ranked choice voting or otherwise, advance on. So what that would look like in this mayoral election, what would be in general, Captain Garcia versus Eric Adams. But that would also go down to city election, to city council and everything else. This is significant because it's not in New York City just that certain people, Republicans don't get to vote in the Democratic primary. 90% of Democrats don't vote in the Democratic primary either. And I do think that we would have a profound impact. Not necessarily making the city less progressive, because I don't think anything about California is not place. But certainly it would mean that more people's voices would be heard, which should be our North Star.
It's basically about that.
Exactly.
So under your vision, you would have ranked choice voting as part of the big part. And then the two finish that ranked voting, one against each other.
What's unique about this proposal is that you wouldn't have to change very much. Right? All you change is just the fact that everyone's voting in the primary for who they want.
So I would say this, that the question is, what's the process? If there's a board of election, so there's a state board of election, and then there's clearance from the Department of Justice, which is a whole lot of there. So I think it would, by the way, I should say, I know, but if there was a vote, I would, yes. Wrong, but I think it would take longer than and just plan that properly. Now, that doesn't mean that a strong after this, or a group of New Yorkers who come together and do a petition file and put their own.
I guess all I'm submitting to this group is just if our report could potentially just provide a recommendation to future commissions. In the event that you want to consider this, we recommend X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely. And I think, by the way, I'm hearing that the commissioners want that. Great. Kyle, anything on your end? You're good.
Well, good, thank you.
So we're gonna, I think we're gonna adjourn, but let's give it about 15-20 minutes in case anybody else comes on. But I'm happy to stay if anyone else would like to stay. Otherwise, we'll adjourn the meeting and sorry to keep you guys here, but we'll stay another 15-20 minutes. Yes.
Could I just ask a question about the nonpartisan vote out? The way you described it, the final two with runoff and the final.
Very, very.
Yeah, I would say.
It's not partisanship. I mean, I think we all share this. Partisanship is a good thing.
Right.
And voting is a good thing. We just.
But I'm hearing this term, nonpartisan election. What you're saying is partisan, of course. But my question is, what if one of in the first runoff of the ranked choice voting, what if one of the candidates is over 50%? Why do you need the second runoff?
It's not a second runoff.
Well,
it's just a general. I mean, look, I'm not.
What I'm saying, why not just have the one election and that's it? The winner is, right choice voting and what's the winner?
What I would respectfully submit here is that in primary election, it's not representative of the general.
True.
And otherwise, why would you go away with primary?
Exactly, that's the other one.
But, I don't think it's all a good thing to have a primary and general.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we will adjourn, but stay a little bit longer. Anyone can stay, but otherwise, yeah, thank you. Motion to adjourn. Second,
Yeah.
all in favor? Thank you. I will have to stay. Okay, just tell us your name again, please.
Hello, my name is Mark Flynn.
Mark,
Yes,
And your last name?
Flynn, like Errol Flynn.
Thank you.
I am in favor of repealing the sanctuary city status and the charter revision. I want to see it on the back of the ballot, please. Give New Yorkers a chance to vote on this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else on Zoom? Are you ready? So if you want to speak, we got you, but if you want to speak, just click on the hand raise button. Go ahead.
Hi. I'm visually impaired, so I couldn't find the hand raise thing. Sorry about that. I too am my name is Denise Zayas. I reside in Queens, and I too am in favor of repealing the sanctuary status and for revising the charter. And I also would like to see it on the back of the ballot this November. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna do a last call if anybody would like to speak before we, sorry. A last call if anybody would like to speak, either on Zoom or in person. Commissioners, any final comments before we vote? All right, well, we are.
I just want to say, again, thank you for coming out, and I want to thank Mayor Adams for making sure that the community and the cities have a voice. So thank you, Mayor Adams, and thank you, the commissioners.
Thank you very much. So we already had a motion to adjourn. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.